Welcome to the Record Machine Show, a podcast featuring interviews from indie and renowned artists from all genres of music. Now, here's your host, James Michael Hollenstein.
Welcome to the Record Machine Show. I'm James Michael Hollenstein, and today's guest is a songwriter whose journey is built on honesty, heart, and deep respect for the craft. Born and raised in the great state of Alabama, Jason Cole began writing lyrics in his early teens and later picked up the guitar in his early 20s, eventually combining words and melody into a powerful catalog of original music. Over the years, Jason has written dozens of songs and earned international airplay, including spins on Gateway 97.8 FM in South Essex, England. In 2024, Jason scored 2 #1 songs on Hug's Radio Top 200 Unsigned Artists Chart, with Squared Up, Headlong, and Gettin Gone taking home Hug's Radio Record of the Year. His song, The Yellow Circle of Light, earned a Song of the Year nomination at the 2025 Josie Awards, and his music continues to gain industry recognition, including Heartfelt being submitted to the Recording Academy for Grammy consideration. Jason is also the 2024 ISSA Male Songwriter of the Year, a judge and a presenter at the 2025 ISSA Awards, a member of the International Singer-Songwriter Association, and a songwriter with multiple licensing and publishing deals to his credit. And before we dive into the interview, there's only one way to kick this off. Let's put the needle to the record. Here's Jason Cole's song, Heartfelt.
Stop the rain in my mind. I'd hope for some kind of sign and walk the dream I had dreamed. That moment, this heart reset did not take long, I confess. Safely inside your caress till everything seemed to rhyme. I finally found you after searching so long. Heartfelt, you make my pulse melt. It's like your end will. We belong always together. No need to guess. You pass the soul test. This love is heartfelt, and we'll always stay together if it's heartfelt. Rewind to 21-9, we're having such a good time. We had just gotten started, living this life we prayed for. First year together was fine, now we're in 22-5. That flame still brightly burning. We found each other after searching so long. It's like your end will. We belong always together. No need to guess. You pass the soul test. This love is heartfelt, and we'll always stay together if it's heartfelt. Oh, heartfelt. Something comes from above when you're broken hearted. Thought we were all out of love. That's when heaven started. Heartfelt, you make my pulse melt. It's like your end dwelt. We belong always together. No need to guess. You pass the soul test. This love is heartfelt, and we'll always stay together if it's heartfelt. Oh, heartfelt. Our love
You just heard Heartfelt by Jason Cole, and I have Jason on the line for an interview. Well, Jason, welcome to the Record Machine Show, and for the listeners discovering you for the first time, where are you originally from, and where are you calling home these days?
I'm from Birmingham, Alabama originally, and I live with my wife in Boaz, Alabama currently, so I'm still in the state of Alabama. This is tracking towards North Alabama where we live now. Birmingham's more central Alabama, you know.
Mm-hmm. Cold today?
Oh my goodness, yeah, it's freezing down here. Probably right now it's in the teens, I believe, and I don't think it's going to get for the next week or so. It's supposed to stay, you know, somewhere around the teens, 20s as the lows.
Wow.
And the highs are probably maybe barely above freezing. I don't know for sure, but it is cold.
Yeah, it's about 30 degrees here in North Myrtle Beach. They were saying something about there might be snow flurries or something, but we just got a little icy rain and it seemed to have stopped, but it's still cold.
Yeah, well, actually, we have had some little tiny flurries today. Mm-hmm. They continue to sputter on and off here, but it's nothing. It's really like the tiniest snow flurries you could imagine. It's nothing, you know, substantial. But
well, that's a good deal for you, right?
Oh yeah. I need to get back to work and all, and you know. So we don't need to be snowed in or anything like that.
I gotcha. Let's go back to the beginning. How did you first get involved in music, and what sparked that early desire to start writing lyrics?
Well, you know, getting involved in music, I'd say I was just a music lover from an early age. The earliest memories were just the old record player in the living room and in our house in Birmingham. And one thing that was available was actually Elvis's greatest hits. It was one of his greatest hits records. Mm-hmm. And so that's the one I latched on to in my earliest memories. I used to love to play the Elvis record as much as possible. And then as far as lyrics, when I got into my teens, I was just really somebody that was drawn towards the words, the lyrics of songs. And I remember back then they used to publish these magazines. They may still somewhere. I haven't seen any in a long time, but they would publish magazines that would have the lyrics of the current, like, top 40 hits that were on the radio then back in the 80s. Uh-huh. And so I would buy those magazines and I would just read through all the lyrics. I was just interested in it. And apparently it was just a precursor to, I started picking up a pen and paper and just started writing poetry and song lyrics, from my early teens. And then both of my parents were writers. They wrote poetry and song lyrics as well. So I think, some of it was just in my DNA. And, they had shared a little bit of that stuff with me, but they never did anything, quote unquote, did anything with their stuff. They just kind of had it, in notebooks, somewhere in the closet, and every once in a while they might bring something out and show you or read you something they had written. And so anyway, it was baked into my DNA as well.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Now, who were some of your biggest musical influences growing up, and how do you hear those influences reflected in your songwriting today?
Well, like I said, Elvis is, it's not that I have any really similarities to Elvis in what I'm doing, and he wasn't really a songwriter. I think he got credit on a few of his big hits, but he really wasn't a songwriter. But, Elvis was just like the be-all, end-all of everything. I mean, he was the king, so he was someone that influenced me, broadly. But then as far as lyrics and songwriting and things, I generally name Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and Hank Williams Sr., that would probably, those three guys are probably drawing from that, the kind of the poetic lyrics I have. Of course, that's Dylan,
Right.
and then there's that Willie Nelson kind of emotional, straightforward kind of realness to a lot of that stuff. I do, I probably do a lot of that type of thing. And then Hank Sr. is just he's the hillbilly Shakespeare, himself, which
Right.
you wouldn't call his lyrics poetic necessarily in a classic sense, but as far as he wrote stuff that would it'll just knock the top of your head and heart off, right? Just cut it clean off. You know what I mean? Just some of the most powerful writing that we've ever had in modern music. And he was an interesting figure and a just supremely talented guy. And unfortunately, he left too soon at 29 years old, actually. But
Right.
he was a young man, but he really he contributed a lot.
Definitely. You started out as a lyric writer before picking up the guitar later on. How did learning to play an instrument change the way you approached your songwriting?
I didn't really change my approach to writing, probably. It was just more or less, it just gave me the opportunity to put music to my words. But I still write. Generally, mostly I write based on an idea of a title or a hook to begin with, but not always. Sometimes I'll scribble down a verse and then and then kind of build off that. But usually I start with a hook and all, and it's generally always lyric before melody. But I do, once again, sometimes I might start a lyric and kind of think of a melody and kind of do them parallel with one another. It differs, but that's, I generally start with lyrics first, then melody, and I start with a hook or title more than anything.
Yeah, that makes sense with you because you started out as a writer from the beginning, right?
Right. Yeah. I did start writing before I had any, I was 23, I believe, when I first started learning to play guitar. So I'm on, which I'm an old man now. I'm in my 50s. I've been playing over 30 years now, but yeah.
Now, you mentioned earlier about your parents, how they wrote a bunch of songs, but they never did anything professionally with them. Have you ever thought about revisiting their catalog of songs and maybe recording any of them?
That's a good idea. I have not, beyond, there's one song that my daddy used to sing that he wrote. And I have I'll still hum and sing that song every once in a while, but I don't know if I would, want to do anything to it to add to it or take away or change it. You know what I mean? Even though I'm sure they would be fine with that. But at the end of the day, since they both, they're both passed away in 2010, about 11 months apart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they've been gone for a while, and I wouldn't, even though I'm quite sure they probably wouldn't care what I did, but it's I kind of like the idea of just keeping it as it was. So I'd probably be more apt to grab up my guitar acoustic and just maybe play a verse and chorus or something, or maybe play the song at some point. But I really haven't done that. But that's a good idea. I might someday.
Yeah, it's a nice little tribute to your parents. You finished what they started.
Yeah, true. That is true. I mean, it's a possibility.
Yeah, something to think about, right?
For sure.
Now, your music has reached audience well beyond the U.S., including airplay on Gateway 97.8 FM in England. What's it like hearing your songs connect with listeners around the world?
Well, I think it's pretty exciting for any of us indie artists, particularly because this modern music landscape is modern original music landscape is kind of, something new in the last, few decades anyway. where, you can kind of wear all the hats. You can write your songs, get them produced up, get them distributed worldwide, get them out there and on the airwaves and on the streaming services, and all this together makes for something that's really exciting. And it's I've enjoyed knowing that people are listening to my songs around the world and pretty much anywhere in the world at this point. And there was something fairly recently I came across, and I didn't know about it for several years, but just kind of in the same vein, but a little bit of an aside on that.
Mm-hmm.
I found out that I had a song in 2022. I had had a song on the Fiji, the Apple Music chart or iTunes chart, whatever they call it now.
Mm-hmm.
It was Apple, iTunes, whatever. In Fiji, I had a song on the charts, actually.
Wow.
Back in 2022. But you will find things like that, or they'll just come out of left field, or somebody might message you or email you, or
right.
This was just something where I was looking at my songs through a particular site, and I found that, and then I kind of dove a little deeper into it. And it was on the iTunes charts in Fiji back in 2022. So that's interesting. But
that's very cool.
I enjoy all the radio, indie radio, the streaming, and the fact that it can be heard around the world. It's great.
It sure is. In 2024, you had 2 number ones on Hugs Radio Top 200 Unsigned Artists Chart with Squared Up, Headlong, and Gettin Gone, earning Record of the Year. What did that recognition mean to you personally?
Well, it means a lot when you put your heart and soul and energy and, blood, sweat, and tears into these songs. And, it also kind of gave me a little bit of a boost as far as it just kind of, reinforced my, idea that the blueprint that I've been going by, that it kind of has come to fruition. And, in a lot of ways. And I appreciate those guys at Hugs Radio. That's a really good indie station. They got a lot of good stuff going on. There's a lot of good artists there. I've met a lot of good people and good artists through my relationships through that particular indie station.
Uh-huh.
And but I tell you, my blueprint always incorporates, I always tell people, recognize your limitations. And, you can do a lot if you'll just look at what your strong suits are and then whatever maybe your whatever your weakest points are.
Mm-hmm.
You try to find people that can fill that gap for you. So, my producer's right here in Boaz, Alabama. His name's Josh Bright Productions. So I'm not a producer.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, for my songs to, quote unquote, come to life, and, I need to get them produced up and get a full production, while my core arrangement is always there in, the song itself. I write and arrange the songs completely, but, I take them and get them produced up by somebody that's much more adept at me at all that and taking it to the next level. And I feel like that's had as much to do with my success, quote unquote success, as anything.
Yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
That's right. No doubt about it. You need other people to help you, get to that next level sometimes. And then once you realize that and, utilize those things, then, good things will happen.
Absolutely. You've also secured multiple licensing and publishing deals. How has that side of the business influenced how you write or record your music?
Well, as far as publishing deals, that's been few and far between now. Most of my stuff is licensing deals, but I have had publishing deals. But I'm into the sync licensing, more than anything. That's probably my top kind of space that I float around in these days.
Mm-hmm.
And it will kind of tweak your writing, or at least not really your writing, but it might tweak your approach to certain songs or productions, because you may be writing for certain type of songs for film and TV, commercials, ads. That's the type licensing I'm talking about. Anything that's a visual medium that needs music to go along with it. That's sync licensing, synchronization licensing in a nutshell. So I've been hard at work on all that, and so it can change the way you approach certain songs, or maybe the style, or the whatever tempo, even, or anything. It can kind of affect that if you're writing for a particular opportunity, possibly, but that doesn't crop up a lot. It's mainly just my catalog, and I'm throwing it into opportunities that what's already in my catalog matches, you know what I'm saying? But gotcha. There is a little bit of the other. But
gotcha. Let's talk about Heartfelt, the song we opened the show with. It was submitted to the Recording Academy for Grammy consideration. What's the story behind the song, and why was it important for you to write it?
Well, Heartfelt's one of my favorite, overall messages of a song, because it was actually written for my wife, Tara, and just it's our relationship, that's it. I mean, that's the song. And so we've been married now for 7 years, been together quite a while, about 8 years we've been together. And so that's the song in a nutshell. It was just one of those, and I finally got the inspiration and the right kind of melodies and chord progression that just kind of fell in place for that tune. And I've been happy with the song, and she was, of course, really happy with it, and people seem to respond to the song really well, so it's done well.
Yeah. What was her reaction when she first heard it?
She loved it. Of course, she heard the skeleton version of just me and acoustic guitar first, just banging it out, and then she also heard the final version, my demo, my scratch demo that I created, and then I sent it over to the studio, and then we got the fully produced version. But yeah, she was excited about it throughout and liked all the versions of it. But once you get it produced up and get that world-class kind of production and instrumentation and things on a track, it's gonna elevate it. There's no way not to.
Absolutely. Another standout track, The Yellow Circle of Light, which earned you Song of the Year nomination at the Josie Music Awards. Can you share the inspiration behind that song and what it represents for you?
Yeah, I talked about Hank Williams Sr. a while ago, a little bit, and the song is it's my tribute or ode to Hank Williams, and it's more specifically about his death and the aftermath, thereof. But I just was listening to, actually, I believe it was an audio book, and they kind of touched on the day that Hank Williams died, and kind of just touched on that story. And then so that's kind of where I got the inspiration, and just started jotting down things, and wound up kind of with a song that was it incorporates some of the imagery out of his song, specifically, and then God's in there, which Hank always went back to a God, a faith in God. He was like any human being. Yeah, he was broken and had a lot of issues and problems, just like we all do.
Yep.
But similarly, I always go back to God. So that's another reason these type artists that, I kind of gravitate towards great writers that also believe in God and write of the things of God. At times, anyway, they may have different styles and all, but he always went back to God, and so that's kind of the whole thing in a nutshell for that song. But it really was exciting that it was nominated at the Josies, and unfortunately we didn't win, but only one person can win, and there's everybody's
right
talented writers and got great songs that get nominated up there. And so you just take it and move on and say, hey, thanks for the nomination, be grateful for that. But I'm really, I'm proud of the song. It was nominated there. It just went number one for the first 2 weeks of 2026 on Radio Music DJ's Hot 100 Songs Chart.
Nice.
So it stayed at number one for 2 weeks on that chart. That chart is, it's just, goes by, I think it's 3,000 to 4,000 radio stations around the world.
Nice.
So the chart is, compiled by how many downloads that you get from DJs and programmers around the world, downloads and plays from that group, which is 3,000 to 4,000. So
very
that's
cool.
that was pretty great. I was proud of that and thankful for that.
Yeah, I think that song resonates with a lot of people who've listened to it.
I hope it does, and I have heard from many people that they enjoyed the song, or it was one of my brothers, Brandon. He actually, when I recorded that song and once again got the full mill deal production on it, and I sent it to him like the day that I got the track back, or I think the day that I got it back, and he has said from the get-go on that one that was pretty much his favorite song that I've ever done, with the production and everything, and the story, and anybody that knows about Hank Williams and knows of his music, his legacy, his legend, his death, etc. Then he's just said that he thinks that's about the best thing that's came from my catalog. So that's great. It's great when you hear your family even, or friends, and total stranger. It doesn't matter. Hey, anytime it affects people and they enjoy it, that's great.
Absolutely. You've received significant recognition recently, including ISSA Male Songwriter of the Year, even serving as a judge and a presenter at the ISSA Awards. How do these moments motivate you moving forward?
Yeah, that was something that I never expected whatsoever. I really didn't, particularly because that was the first year that I was involved in ISA. So that was my first year being nominated. And then I won Songwriter of the Year, which was, like I said, it totally, floored me on that. But I really appreciate that organization as well, Tammany Dove, and everything they do, and the way they've got everything set up is about as good as you could expect and want out of an organization. And I'm proud to be a gold winner for the ISO Awards, and also proud to be a judge last year, and I will return as a judge this year. So it's that's part of the particulars of if you win gold, you're a judge automatically for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So you're not eligible for awards during that period. Then you can become eligible for awards again after your 2 years serving as a judge, which I like that aspect as well, because now you back off and you try to help and prop up these other artists, and you vote for whichever ones you deem that's the best in each category. And now, you open the door for other people to win awards, because you don't want certain people dominating the awards all the time. So let's back off and become part of the kind of the organization and kind of just focus on these other artists and, helping them along or propping them up, just being there and as a judge, as a fellow artist, and just kind of love on one another and prop one another up. And that's what it's all about.
Awesome. For the listeners who want to explore more of your music and follow your journey, where can they go online to learn more about you?
I always say jasoncolesongs.com first, and you can bounce off that and go to everything else, all my social media and all. So that pretty much covers it, jasoncolesongs.com. But I'm all over all the social media sites, the streaming site, the YouTube and all the like. I'm everywhere, as far as that goes. But jasoncolesongs.com.
Awesome. Now, before we wrap things up, is there anything we didn't get a chance to talk about today? Maybe some upcoming projects, some new music, anything else you'd like to share with the listeners?
Well, I'm constantly writing, and I've got some things on the shelf. I've written probably 6 or 7 songs here fairly recently, and I'll go through the process of determining what I might record in the studio next time in the studio, but I don't know when I'll go in. It'll be probably within the next 2 to 3 months. I'll go in the studio and do a few more tunes, but I am planning to do an album and make it a compilation of kind of what I've released over the last 4 or 5 years, and then also release a few of my unreleased tracks and kind of do it that way is what's been my idea. I thought to release it early this year, but I kind of put it off for now for a little bit, but I don't know. It'll be sometime this year, should be, Lord willing. I'll get that album out, and there'll be 2 or 3 unreleased tracks. Because I've always got unreleased tracks on the shelf too that I've just decided not to release for whatever reason. Now, I'm generally always still pitching those to sync licensing deals, and I've pretty much got a sync deal on every song that all of my recorded songs are fully produced songs. Mm-hmm. I have a sync deal on, but I don't always release all those worldwide on the streamers and this and that. But I'm gonna throw a few of those on this album, and pretty much that's really all I've got planned in that vein. But also, if you want to go check out, this is not my thing, but it's something that I'm interested in, signed up for. It's the Human Artistry Campaign. It's a petition about reining in AI creation, where it is actually stealing from other artists to create music. Now, AI as a tool is good and fine, which even the Human Artistry Campaign recognizes. Okay, it can be used as a tool, it's going to be, and we're on board with that. But as far as scraping everybody's music and lyrics on the internet, and then incorporating that into their model and using that to create songs, that's not cool. That's stealing. So
exactly.
If any, you're right. And so anybody that agrees with that, go sign the petition on the Human Artistry Campaign.
Awesome. Well, Jason, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really did have a great time chatting with you.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, James. And hopefully we will meet up at the ICES again this year. And then, we'll do it again sometime. We'll chat one way or the other.
Yeah, when you got something new coming out, like if you decide to do that album, or you got some singles or something like that you want to promote, just shoot me a text or an email. I'd love to have you back on. All right, buddy?
Awesome, buddy. I appreciate you. Take care, man. God bless.
You too, brother. You enjoy the rest of your day, all right?
You too, James.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Jason, thank you again for spending some time with us today. It's been a real pleasure hearing your story and diving into the meaning behind your songs and talking about your journey from your early days in Alabama to the international recognition you're receiving today. Your music carries honesty, depth, authenticity, and it's easy to hear why it continues to resonate with listeners around the world. From chart-topping success and award-winning recognition to simply writing songs that connect on a human level, you continue to stay grounded in your craft. And that's something our listeners truly appreciate. And before we sign off, let's bring it back to the music one last time. I want to leave you with a song that perfectly captures Jason's gift for storytelling, a track that earned Song of the Year nomination at the Josie Music Awards and shines as one of his standout releases. Here is The Yellow Circle of Light. I'm James Michael Hollenstein, and this has been The Record Machine Show. Until next time, keep those records spinning.
Ash to ash and dust to dust. Is death the wage of wanderlust? Your mournful cries and plaintive wail were not enough to tip the scales. Lovesick demons having fled, they left your heart and filled your head. Out poured the lines that had them sussed. No matter how they fought and fussed, there's a yellow circle of light where you once stood, laying bare on solid wood. Bet you'd go back if you could. Right more wrongs than you should. They better nail your coffin tight. You've never gone down without a fight. Once having wrestled through the darkest night, you praised the Lord and saw the light. Wielding the words that rent the veil, you forged country music's holy grail. Oh, chalice of shame and rich and raw, a man can drink, but a boy best not. Forever late for one more show. The robins have died, the whippoorwills flown. Lost in this world, you settled the score. Their last living, breathing troubadour. There's a yellow circle of light where you once stood, laying bare on solid wood. Bet you'd go back if you could. Right more wrongs than you should. They better nail your coffin tight. You've never gone down without a fight. Once having wrestled through the darkest night, you praised the Lord and saw the light. salute the drifters, dream aboard. There's a yellow circle of light where you once stood.
The Record Machine Show is a weekly radio podcast produced by Jimmy Hall Productions. All rights reserved. For distribution information or to add this podcast to your website, please visit our contact page at therecordmachineshow.com to submit your request. Thanks for listening. See you next time on The Record Machine Show.